And now it's Deborah Kobylt Live.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today on Deborah Kobylt Live. And please welcome Audrey Hope, trauma therapist. Audrey is also a counselor at the Seasons Rehab in Malibu. And I've invited Audrey today because so much is going on in our world, our country, our state, our city. A lot of people are feeling anxious, don't know what to do. Particularly here, I can speak for Los Angeles, where a lot of people are feeling so displaced still since the fires. They were massive, and a lot of people just had to go with the shirt on their backs, right? And that just created a whole level of anxiety that I think is still permeating throughout our area to this day. And I wanted to talk about that, some real solutions and how we can get through this. So, Audrey, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here to give you those little nuggets, those little tools to help someone. My idea is to do it as quickly as possible,
I like
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens with trauma in any way, it goes to the nervous system. So you can go to a therapist and you can talk about it, but it's not going to go inside the body, right? I
Mm.
always say we need a vacuum. We need a vacuum to get to the nervous system. That's why drugs and alcohol work because they get into the nervous system. But of course, we have to find a better way than that. So a spiritual tool that's really powerful is to close your eyes and to access like the sun, which is so powerful. The image of the sun, images are so amazing. And to see it as electrical energy, to open up the top of the head and to say to yourself in silence, I am taking in the light. And you move that orange yellow light right through the spine. The spine is the secret of healing. That's why there's a caduceus in medicine, because that little snake, it's always through the spine. The spine is the secret to life. It's like a channel in spirituality. It's called the rod of power. You move that light and you say, all negative energy out of my body. You put two holes at the bottom of your feet. And believe me, I've been working with people 20 years. They can always do it through images. Move the light and command the darkness to go. And I'll say, where is the darkness in your body? Where did the trauma get in? Did it get in your head? Did it get in your stomach? Did it get in your chest? Find it, put a flashlight in it, and move that light right through it. You can work with color, which is so powerful. Put gold in and move out the black. That's one.
Wow. So you're saying visualization is very
Yes.
powerful. Okay.
Spiritual visualization, which actually is secret, is going to be electricity and color coming up. You see, Deborah, the missing piece in healing is energy. I know
Mm.
because I work with a lot of doctors and a lot of psychiatrists, psychologists. The missing piece that I offer is the energy piece. If we miss the energy piece, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. I call it the missing piece of the pie. Where is the cord, the string that something got in? And where did you give your energy to? And where was it taken away? And you can actually scan that in your body because we were all affected by these fires in Los Angeles and we think we're okay. Deborah, we're not okay because that
Mm.
energy went into our body and we got to get it at that energy level. So I always ask someone, where's the hook? Where's the chain? Where is it? And then you have to cut that cord to it and you got to take back your soul. I call it soul retrieval. You got to take back your light from the trauma, which is kind of a secret energy piece.
Hmm. When you say we have to bring color into our life, what does that mean? Like my favorite color? I'll give you an example. I wore pink today for you. I don't know why. When I think about you, I think of pink. Of course, you're in
Okay.
yellow, I think. So, like, do I bring a certain color in, or is there a certain color I should be thinking about?
That is a great question.
Like they
Deborah,
say,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Like they say orange, right? I don't know. I've
Yeah.
read about that. But what do we do? Just pick your favorite?
Close your eyes, close
Okay.
your eyes, and ask your soul. And your soul will tell you. We got to take time. Just calm down, take a breath, and say, what color does my body need? And your intuition will tell you what you need. You probably knew today that you needed pink,
Yeah.
but your body will tell you I need like orange vibrancy or I need yellow. And blue is a very healing color, and you could put that in your body. So your body will tell you, our intuition is a thing I try to give my clients too. The ability to listen to that still small voice within, because your body is the best doctor. Your body keeps the score. So if you learn how to listen to your body, close your eyes, ask yourself what your body needs, your body will tell you. The thing is, we're not quiet enough. We're too distracted.
What about getting back to nature? To me, that's the be all end all of healing. I
Not
don't
only
care.
nature, put your hands on the tree. Go lay down on the ground, put your hands on the ground. These are all Native American techniques, and let the ground take your pain. Your
Yeah.
hands on the soil, your feet in the ocean. These are very powerful tools. The salt of the ocean will clear the trauma too.
Hmm. What about getting back to faith, whatever one's faith is? And by that, I mean religion. I'm not necessarily a religious person. I consider myself a little more on the spiritual end. However, I've been diving a little deeper into the religion that I was raised on, which is kind of shocking to me. I didn't really think I'd ever do that, but I have. And I will come out of, let's say, a service and I'll feel very peaceful and calm.
Yeah.
I try and take away all the good from that. In a way, I feel like we've gotten away from that so much in society. Look, I had to go to church, right, every Sunday with my parents.
Right.
And believe me, if I didn't roll my eyes, I'm like, oh God, again. But there's a real benefit in that, right? You saw the people down the street that you don't see all week. You saw, an older woman that you might not see. There was a real community, and we're just splintered. We don't do that anymore. And at the very least, it's a great way to see your community. What do you say about that?
I think that's incredible, Deborah, that you bring that up because it's the energy of that, the energy of the community, the energy of hope. It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's meant to be the same. No matter Buddhist temple, Jewish temple, a church, it's the same. And what happened is man made it all different, right? So we
Yes.
need to get back. And that's what nature does. Nature actually gives you the joy which we have to experience in the body. It's not a thinking rational. You actually feel it. Remember, when you feel something, that's really healing. So religion is meant to give you the feeling of the divine. And so when you put the feeling of the divine in the body, the secret is you have to keep it. How do you keep it?
Mm.
Okay. I always give my clients a shield. I say, imagine a golden shield like a coconut, 2 feet above, 2 feet to the right, 2 feet underneath, 2 feet to the left. And keep that shield so that it'll stay with you beyond Sunday and learn to keep it. Learn to get back and to do it like you shower every day and like you have a cup of coffee. Close your eyes, say, I am now putting the light in my body. Make sure you don't do anything until that light is in the body. And there's your church every time. You got to do it 20 times a day, do it 20 times a day. But keep the energy of that feeling, that wow, beautiful joy feeling, and practice to keep it because in the world right now, they're hitting us at this level, which is, as you know, Deborah, fear. Fear is what is going in, and it's a trick. We got to watch it because it will take us down, tire us out, and then we'll believe anything. And we
Mm.
won't have critical mind thinking. Critical mind thinking, there's a mass psychosis going on. It is a rape of the mind and it works through fear. And everyone has to know it's dangerous and stop it.
Mm. Let's go back to the fear component. How do we release ourselves of fear? Genuine fear. Like, I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
Every time I get on a plane, I have terrible fear. I don't like flying, but I have to get somewhere. So there I go.
right.
Um, Probably not that rational. Most people get to where they're going. Um,
Yes.
when there's a big truck next to me on the freeway, I suddenly go into fear, right? And I'm going to be fine. I just passed the guy and I'm going to be okay. I sometimes think it was because I was a newscaster and every day I was on the road, covering
Right.
something tragic. I really do think that it's like some kind of PTSD for a wonderful career, but it's usually always a tragedy. But for those of us who have fear about whatever, fear of something with our children, with our family, how do we handle that?
Well, fear is part of life, right?
Yeah.
And we have to clear it. Like I work at the rehab, I see a lot of people during the day. If I don't come home and clear it in a way like certain techniques, again, there's many that I come up with. I'm going to feel it through the week and I could be angry.
Oh,
You see, we carry it with you. And with trauma, we carry it through the years. We lock it in a closet and it grows and it grows. We think we're okay. And then one little comes and we get activated. So we have to understand fear on an energy level and be able to clear it. Like you were working every day as a newscaster, you had to know that you had to come home every day and shower it out like you shower yourself. You cannot hold it because it will turn into something else. If you lock it in the body, it will become an illness eventually, or it will become anxiety. And I want your audience to know that anxiety is an overwhelming energy. You could try and drug it, but eventually you got to look at it and you got to know that it's too much luggage in the body. You're carrying too much and it needs to be released. So when you're on the freeway, you're afraid, acknowledge it and you say, not now, not this. You move, you got to move through your day quickly. You take your thoughts. I got lots of techniques for thoughts. Think of your thoughts as fish, right? They're all fish. Make this the bowl. This is a powerful third eye. You know that. Make and command all the fish to go in the bowl and contain it and say, I am safe. I am in the light. And burn it. Fire will burn fear. The image, I know it's hard for us because we've seen so much fire, but purple fire is a trick of the highest. You use purple fire for transformation.
So wait a minute. As I'm on the freeway, I have to put fish into the center of my forehead.
Well,
Like
you
you
could
got to
say,
explain that again.
you got to
Because it's
say
something.
not.
Wait.
Go
Something
ahead.
about that's actually funny. And if I'm on the freeway and all of a sudden I'm imagining these fish going into the middle of my forehead, I'm just going to start laughing. And if anything, that'll take my fear away right there, right? I mean, a
Well,
good
there
laugh will
you
do anything,
go. You
right? But
have just created the greatest truth of all time.
right.
Cartoons and images. That's neuralistic programming. That's what Anthony Robbins uses. You turn it into cartoons. That's actually brilliant. I'm glad you brought up the laughter and making it cartoons. So using fish and using all images will absolutely help you immediately with trauma.
I like that. Cartoons, laughter. But that's the first thought I had when you were talking about the fish. I'm like,
Great.
what? And certainly that gets your mind off of, what you might be fearing on the freeway. That's a good one. I like that. Cartoons. I used to actually sometimes when I was talking to someone, perhaps I wasn't too fond of them, I would turn them into a cartoon in my head.
Brilliant. That is so brilliant. And that is a powerful thing spiritually. The simpler it is, the more cartoony it is, the more powerful it is. There it goes. Now you understand.
Yeah, that's actually actually very funny. Now, you do a lot of work at the Seasons Rehab in Malibu. Clearly, when someone goes there, they are struggling with some sort of addiction, right?
Trauma too, trauma, mental health. We have many different houses, not just addiction. We
Okay.
have a mental health house, a trauma house, a drug for drugs and alcohol. Yeah, we have four different ones. Yeah, I work in all
So,
aspects of it. Yeah.
are we seeing more of this? Sometimes, okay, I think to myself, are people just almost doing too much therapy? Okay, let's dial it back to maybe like the 1940s or something. And people just had to toughen up, man. Stuff was happening around them and they just had to really they just had to be very, very tough, right? They didn't have really somebody to go in and talk to and then speak again the next week. Sometimes, just sometimes, not with you, of course, I sometimes wonder, are we too much of a therapy society in a way, instead of just saying, look, I know it's tough, but that's the meaning of life. I'm just asking you this because
I love this question
because I
because you
know
are
you don't.
bringing up something so important enough sometimes. And then it has to be an attitude change. Guess what? Sometimes I'll say, you're a spoiled brat. Do you know that? Do you know that you want like a man to take care of you? Do you know that you want your parents to pay for you? So sometimes enough it becomes something else. Get over yourself. You're a spoiled brat. And that happens a lot where, they call me the buster or the sniper. Because sometimes I'll just say, I cannot believe how spoiled you are. And please don't do any more trauma work. Please look at your attitude and grow up. So it's sometimes that aspect. You're absolutely right. We could do it and do it and do it, and it becomes a thing that we use as an excuse. And there has to be something else. Your mind has to change. You have to make a new decision. You have to get over yourself.
Hmm. What about alienating yourself from what you perceive to have been trauma? I notice it's a real trend now. Um, and it tends to be from the point of view of the person who believes they have the trauma, and they very well may have had that trauma, but they're taking themselves out of the situation. And, and very often it's getting in between families. What do you say about that?
You're right on again, because that denial piece is a big thing. We really are a society of denial, and it'll work until it doesn't. Eventually, it will not work for anybody because it'll come out in another way. All of a sudden, you'll have another thing happen. You'll have anxiety, you'll have a drug addiction, you'll have an illness. And so, what you try to hide will come show up in that form. So, you're absolutely right. This denial and this running, I think it's always been like that.
Yeah.
And of course, men do it especially, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, they try to be very rational. And I wish that our society will help men a little more to be able to talk about their feelings.
Yeah, and to be able to talk to women about theirs as opposed to shutting it down.
Yes.
I see that all the time.
Yes.
We all do. And then that becomes very difficult in relationships as well.
Yes.
A lot of times you can't even get men to go for therapy. It's very difficult. So I
That's
agree
right.
with you in that way as well. What
Yes.
are your thoughts on taking pills, the ADHD, the bipolar, the all of that? Because I am not saying these don't exist. They do. But I also believe, this is just me, that we are in a society of labels. You got this, you got that. Go take a pill for this. I didn't necessarily have that growing up. It doesn't mean it was better for me growing up, but I do notice in today's society, everyone's on a pill for something. What are your thoughts?
It's a real thing. It's a trend. You talk about a trend. Absolutely. Diagnosing someone when they're young, medicating them when they're young. I work with a lot of that problem. And what it is beyond the actual medication is the belief system. You're different than the other kids. That will cause you pain your whole life unless you go in and get that nugget that you are different. In certain cities, they'll call on the loudspeaker, John, James, Scott, come for your ADD medicine. Do you know what that does to someone?
What?
Yes, they would list it, the loudspeakers. Remember the loudspeakers? Da da da, they'll ring the bell. Okay, these people need to come for their medication. Do you know how traumatizing that is for the child to feel, the young adult to feel that they're different? That's the problem. And then it ends up becoming a cocaine problem because they say, oh God, I need it for the stimulus. So I work a lot with that, and it's got to stop. These diagnoses is putting people in a box, and some of these kids are brilliant. They're
Yeah.
brilliant and they think differently. And a lot of them need to get up. What do we do with ADD? Sit still. It's the opposite. Get up and move your body, move your hands. And that's how they'll listen and learn. And that's the truth. They just have a new language. A lot of them are indigo children, which means they're spiritually evolved children in this time period who are so bored because they're so evolved. Did you know that they were spiritually evolved, a lot of them?
I fully believe that.
Hmm.
Audrey, I fully do.
Yeah.
100%. And I believe that some modern therapy techniques and psychiatry have just, pigeonholed people into going the route of medicine. And then I also believe you're right. And then people feel like they can't live without it. Doesn't mean some people don't need to be medicated, because some people really do. But diagnosing somebody at such a young age when their brains are still developing, I think is very, very dangerous. And you're right. A lot of schools would say, oh, take some medicine so they can, function and in class. But maybe they weren't meant to function in the one room schoolhouse. I like to say it, because maybe they
Right.
learn in a different way. So
It's a
it's real.
different language. It's a
Yeah.
different language. And a lot of times I'll have them move their hands and they feel so much better sitting there. They don't have to sit still. They can actually move and go like this with their hands, and they actually think better. So I'll bring all sorts of things for clients to use in their hands, and it really helps. Rubber band. I've worked with a lot of men that have masked this problem, and I'll give them a rubber band. They feel so much better. I'll say, keep moving, and it helps them. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah, yeah.
What do they do with the rubber band?
They
Here,
move it,
I
move
have
it around.
something here, like a hair tie.
You move
You
it
just move
around.
it around?
Because when the hands are moving, it helps the brain think. And so what do we do with ADHD? Sit still. There's something wrong with you. Why don't you want to sit still? Please, that has to stop. Get out
Yeah.
and run and move. And so we have to have new technology, new systems of thinking, new perceptions, because we really are in a new age. We're in a new
Well,
age and we're in a new technology. We wouldn't go back. We have the iPhone, new technology. We
right.
can't use old systems in this new technology, right? And that's what I'm hoping to do, build a new manual for people.
When you say that new manual, you said the iPhone, and notice I sort of made a face. We can't go back, right? This is where we are. We're never going back to a time when we didn't have an iPhone. We all remember those days. Um, how do we manage with the new technologies that are out there that are just coming at us, just incredible? When I sometimes think about the dark ages where sort of nothing was really happening.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, modern time, it's like every week, every month, something's different. AI, robots, they're going to think for you, do this for you. Your phone, it's like, oh my gosh, it's no wonder why we're all an anxious mess. How do we move through that?
Well, there's a price to pay for everything, Deborah, right?
Yeah,
There's so much good in the technology,
yeah.
but then there's also something bad. So I think the secret is the self,
Mm,
to come into the self and to find inner peace and joy no matter what's happening outside the world. And I really teach people how to do that. I call it the sovereignty of the self, to find a way to be aligned in your own boat. And we have to be careful that we don't take in the outside world because
yeah,
we're so affected by the outside world and other people. And it's a real energy thing too. We have to be careful that we stay. And I like to put fire in my body to know that I'm strong. I'm an enlightened being. So even though with the politics and what's happening,
yeah.
selfish greed, everything, I can still stay because there's a mass psychosis going on, right? And the antidote to this mass psychosis is hope, staying in tune with yourself, not buying into it, being in the world, but not of it, and learning how to attack the dark forces because we're in a battle of light versus dark in this age of Aquarius.
You know, it's interesting. For me, the answer always is nature because it's the creator, it's everything, it's part of us. And the other day, I was exercising actually in my front lawn just because I felt like it. I don't know, I wanted to change something up. So I brought a little yoga mat out and I was just laying back and I was looking up at the sky. It was a beautiful blue sky, beautiful. And I was watching a bird go by, and then way up in the distance, I saw an airplane, and it was so relaxing to look at a tree that was sort of, in my way, and then the birds, and and I was imagining who's on that plane. I wonder where they're going, and such a relaxing moment. So I called my husband and I said, "Come on outside," and I said, "Just lay on your back," and he's like, "Why?" I said, "Just do it. You'll see, and just give yourself 2 minutes." And he
There
did
you
it.
go.
I said, "How do you feel?" He goes, "That was really fun. That was really cool." It's probably all he could do. And they went back in the car, in the house. But nature, like we don't have to look that far. And if you live in a cement block of an apartment, there's always a way that you can find nature if you look up at the sky. That's how I look at it.
It's a total religion, nature. And what
Yeah.
you're just saying is you cleared the distractions and the energy forces that come bombard you during the day. But you also mentioned something else, Deborah, right? You mentioned the bird. Now, one of the things is that the secrets of healing is the animal kingdom. And
Mm,
a lot of people don't know that. But
true.
yet, if you look at symbols through since the beginning of time, Ganesha has an elephant, Shiva has a snake. It's trying to tell us something. So we need to use the animals for healing. It is one of the most powerful things we could do. And you had a bird. So with my clients, and they love it, to find their animal totem and to work with it
Oh,
is incredible So there is a whole thing about working with the animals, allowing the animals to guide you. And that's shamanism. And
Yeah.
that's as old as time itself, right? And why
Yeah.
did Native Americans use animals? Because the secret is right there. Your animal totem will be able to guide you. You see, we have to be able to get back to the intuition and into the self and listen to the self. And everything in our world is to take us away from that. We have to stop that because that's brainwashing. So to get back to the intuition, the more you heal, the more intuitive you'll be. I don't know if you knew that.
Absolutely. Of
Right.
course. Yeah. I mean, I read about
Right.
all this stuff, and because I need to do it for myself, I can get
That's
very
right.
easily overwhelmed, anxious, fearful, all of the above. And when it just spins out of control, I completely stop
Right.
and I walk outside. I go to the beach. I look at the sky. I put my feet on the grass.
Right.
I know to do that, and I have an instant calm that comes over me. And
Right.
actually, I've become very interested in the teachings of Native Americans.
Yes.
They really understood, and it's a shame the way as kids we were taught about a lot of their culture, which was we really weren't taught much, or that things were primitive, and we all realize that that's just not the case at all.
Right.
The closer you are to the earth, the calmer you will feel. I believe that. So I'm so glad that you incorporate all this into your teachings.
Yes, and you also, what you're doing is so spiritual. But to add to that is another secret.
Yeah,
EA, Asher EA, is a Kabbalah term, Jewish term. I am that I am, very powerful. It's like a magic
right.
wand. So if you're doing your nature things and you say, I am now clearing my body, you can add that element. I am now releasing the day. I'm releasing all negative energy. That will absolutely enhance what you're doing with nature.
Let me ask you, what if you live with people who aren't like that at all? Like you just calmed yourself, you were with nature, and you go back into the office or do whatever, and you're with a bunch of just high driving people, and you sort of end up, oh no, here we go again. What do you do if that's part of your life,
Oh,
but you're trying to change it? Go ahead.
I love these questions because I teach a class on energy and
Mm,
I teach this very thing, which is other people and relatives. It's called the wound of the tribe. The relatives that you think, the mothers, the fathers, they are our lessons.
yeah,
And it's important to know that it comes, the closer we are to these people, the more the lessons come. So you have to understand that this other people stuff, sometimes it's a psychic vampire, which would they call, a sociopath or a psychopath. But you have to be able to read the room and read your relatives. Some relatives, it's hopeless, hopeless. You can
yeah,
try and try and try, right? So the energy wisdom would be stay away. Don't try and help someone and fix them. Read the room. Some people you can't fix. You just need to
mm,
keep a shield and stay away. What do you do with a sociopath? You can't fix a sociopath, right? You have to know they're a
mm.
sociopath and get going. That's the game. So I teach my clients how to work with other people so their energy field, because this energy field will tire you. That's what's happening in the world right now. We're bombarded and then we're tired. How do you know it's dark energy? You're tired and you have to be able to recognize it and go, I am now removing that energy. Be careful also what you look at. Don't look someone in the eye who's very toxic. So I teach people how to label toxic people till you stop trying. I wish they would learn. No, they're only going to suck your energy and take you out.
That's hard to do. Hard to stop fixing somebody, especially if they're in your life and they kind of have to be in. That's a tough one.
No, you
Um,
have to, Deborah, you have to, because it's going to make you sick. You're going to be sick and they're going to be fine. It's important to understand that people affect our energy field, and you have to become a master of reading the room and see who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a very toxic person, know that. That's like an addict that's never going to stop,
mm,
right? And what if I care too much and I go, oh, I really want them to stop? I'm out of bounds. I'm interfering. The soul has a choice. It's not my job. It's not my job to save anybody. It's my job to invite someone in. And if they don't want to, bye bye. Bye bye. It's your right to not want to heal.
Now, I only have a couple of minutes left to talk to you, but I wanted to mention that on your social media pages, particularly your Instagram, I love something that you do. You give us quick nuggets, as you like to call them, and I call them the same thing. What do you do if you're feeling isolated? How to identify depression? How do you know if somebody's lying? This is just terrific because I want to encourage people to go on your social media
Thank you,
pages because,
Deborah.
yeah, you give those little nuggets, and I'm like, oh, wow. So that's how. So let's pick one or two and let's go through it.
Go
How
for
do
it.
you identify if, in fact, somebody's lying?
The way they move their eyes and the way
Oh,
they try to distract you. They don't breathe. Okay, how do you know if someone lies? They want to talk so fast like this. Someone who's really telling the truth, they take the time. They speak. There's nothing to rush. There's nothing to, but if someone was lying, they'll try to like turn you, move you somewhere else and get you all frenetic and chaotic. That's how you can really tell. They talk too fast. We see it a lot with politicians.
I get that.
Oh boy.
How about someone who's dismissive, right? You try and bring something up to them, you want to have a conversation, they dismiss you, you're crazy. What do you do about that? Walk out of the room? Like, how do you handle a person like that?
I love that. Well, that's like talking to this pen, right? I love you and I hope you will love me back. You see how insane that is? And if
Yeah.
someone's dismissive, okay, be dismissive. You have to understand why, you have to look in why that bothers you. That because it gets into a portal. And when I do healing, I try to seal up all the portals where people bother you. So we use them as lessons. Go, why is that person bothering me? And you could save 20 years of therapy. Why do I care that they're dismissive? Oh my God, you answer that question and you could become your own therapist.
That's great. Anything else? Any other quick nugget before I let you go? And then I want you to please tell people how they can reach out to you and also what your specialty is if people want to call you and have a session with you as well.
Well, my specialty is really transformation as fast as possible. And I am a soul healer, which means getting to the root of the root, right? Not the obvious, but what's really going on. I think it's an intuitive gift. I'm happy to share it with the world. And people who work with me know I'm very fast. So that's it. I do relationships. I love to help people get married. I love for people to understand what's really going on. So I do that in my private practice. It's a joy. I want to do that in the world. And people can reach me on my Instagram at the Audrey Hope. And I think I'd like to leave your audience with this. Have hope in the world because we're going through alchemy. We're going through the cycle. We left the age of Pisces and we moved into the age of Aquarius. Very powerful time. And in alchemy, you have to know it comes out, everything that's ugly comes up so we can heal it. So hang on, let's move through it and see the end point that we're going to be better. There's a saying I took, the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. And where you stumble, there lies your treasure. That's the secret of healing. We will come out of this stronger and we are alchemizing everything. So don't buy into the fear.
Hmm. Audrey, I'm so thrilled that you joined me today. You're such a beacon of hope and you have such great advice. And I love the fact that you like to, you don't believe in, a lifetime of therapy. You want people to come in, have some, real tools that they could leave with and go live their life. So thank you for doing that for so many people. I really appreciate it. And we'll
Thank
have you
you for
back.
what you do, Deborah. Thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. And everybody, again, you can reach Audrey Hope. Go on her social media pages. She answers right away. Look up some of her work, website as well, just to see some of the work also that she's done at Seasons and everywhere else. And if you have any questions, whether it's about depression, relationships, job, trauma, a lot of people are struggling out there. As Audrey said when we were speaking, not even here, but on the phone, there's a big shift going on in the world in many, many ways. And if it's affecting you, it's affecting all of us. Give Audrey a call because it's really helpful and very therapeutic. So again, thank you, Audrey Hope, for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much.
And you can find my program with Audrey Hope on all audio and video platforms of Deborah Kobylt Live. And I encourage you to listen to our program. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.